Hello and welcome back to the Garner Brothers. Today we're in our parents' home and we'll be sitting down with our dad, who is currently serving as the Portland, Oregon Temple President. We tried to convince him to hold this session in his office inside the temple, but he seemed very convinced that us four brothers are on the do not admit list in the temple, so we're holding it here in his living room. So what do you want us to call you during this video? Do you want us to call you President Garner, or should we say Daddy or Sure. Papa?
Sure. Your Highness.
Yeah. Whatever you like.
Okay, well, how long have you been president now of the temple?
Just short of 2 years. We were set apart in September of 2019.
How did that happen? How did that happen?
Yeah, tell us the story.
When we came home from our mission in Maryland, we got involved in the care of the beach house with the other owners. And so we kept having to go out to the coast to take care of things and work on things. And this one week, we were driving out there and we stopped at the casino in...
And there was Elder Cook.
What are you doing here?
The buffet.
In Grand Ron, we went to that big, fancy smorgasbord. And so after we'd had lunch, I went out to the car because it was raining to get it to come and pick Mom up at the restaurant entrance. And when I got to the car and got into the car, it had the what do you call it?
Bluetooth?
The Bluetooth on, and the phone was ringing.
We all know what that sounds like. Auga! Auga!
And so I pushed the button, and this voice came on and asked if this was Brother Garner. So I said, it is. And she told me her name, and I still don't remember it. But she said, I'm calling for President Eyring. And I said, sure you are. And so all I could think of was that somebody had seen us. Of course, it's a huge parking lot, so they were horsing around with me. So I started looking. I didn't have to use the phone or anything. I started looking at all the cars to see if I could find somebody, peeking out. And she laughed while I'm still looking around. And she said, no, he's asked me to call. He would like to speak with you. And I said, what on earth would President Eyring want to speak with me about? But I still didn't think it was real. So I was still looking around the parking lot, standing up because the car door's open and I could hear from the inside trying to find out who was doing this. And she said, well, he would like to have a face-to-face interview with you, and I'm calling to see if we could set up a time to do that. And I thought, what in the world? And I said, I'd be happy to speak with him anytime you want. She said, well, somebody's going to call you in the next couple of days, and they're going to want to get onto your computer at home and set it up so we can do this. And I was still not exactly sure it was true or not. And then I noticed the phone number on the readout was the Utah number. So that was how it was set up. So this guy from church office building he called several times, and he got into our computer at home and to verify that it was functional. Then the next day at noon or 1 o'clock, he called and set it up again, and automatically clicked into President Eyring's office. And so we sat there for a few minutes, and all of a sudden we heard some talking off to one side. He must have been talking to a secretary. Then he appears on the screen, and he's doing his little shuffle, you know, walking around his desk and coming over to sit down in a chair. And he's talking to us all the time. He's walking across there, you know, and sat down. And so, you know, and I had, between the time at the casino and this time, we had kind of put together why somebody from the First Presidency would be calling, and so we kind of half figured it was some kind of temple assignment.
Did he remember you?
No, well, I don't think so. He released me from
Stake presidency?
the stake presidency with President Bear. He was there for that.
But what
time
year
ago.
was that? Yeah.
That was 90.
Yeah, it was 96 or 90. No, because it was year
98?
before, so 98. It was 98. Because President Jensen,
97.
97, because they called me in 98 to be the stake president.
oh, yeah, that's when I went.
Did President Eyring scold you for being mean to Karen in the parking lot?
Oh, no.
She probably gets that a lot.
I don't recall him saying that at all.
So and then they set up a time for you to go down to Utah for the training, and that's were you set apart and trained at the same time?
Yes. We were there for a week. It was an amazing thing. Of course, we didn't know exactly what to expect, and they'd sent us an itinerary and the schedules of every day. Every minute was programmed out. And so we could tell by some of the speakers that there were going to be lots of general authorities there. But the first morning, Monday morning, when we walked in to the big tall church's office building, they have a kind of a chapel, big chapel in one side of it. And we walked into the room, and down in front, seated across the front of the room, was the entire Quorum of the 12. Whoa. All of them. And I remember thinking, looking down there, what in the world are they all doing here at this hour of the day?
And who all was in there? It was you and Mom, and then who else was in that
There
room?
were 60 new temple presidents and their wives.
60 new temple presidents and their wives. Wow.
And the Quorum of the 12.
And the Quorum of the
And
12.
well, no. The Quorum of the 12 was in front, already there. I don't know how they beat us in there, but they were already there.
Tunnels.
Then they had us go down, and we sat in the first 4, 5, or 6 rows, whatever it was, to get that many people in. Then behind us were 170s. And the General Relief Society presidency and Young Men's presidency and the primary, you know, they were all in there.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I thought it was more like a grown-up EFY, but this sounds a lot different.
And then a few minutes go by, and it gets to the hour, 8 o'clock, I think, and this door opens over on the side, and in walks the First Presidency, and they come in and sit down on the other side of the Quorum of the 12, and the meeting starts. Every day it was the same, but it was amazing. One night, Thursday night, we had dinner in the top of the church office building. There's a fancy restaurant up there. And then they took us down to the basement of the church office building, not the old one, the new one, where the high-rise one. And they said afterward they wanted us to take us over to the tabernacle. So we walked down to the basement, and there's just a massive underground section down there that goes from the church office building all the way past the old church office building, under the street, underneath the temple,
Tunnels.
over underneath the tabernacle, and rooms, big conference rooms down there. It's a big,
Jeez.
massive place.
And I assume
Then
conspiracy theory.
They came up from there into the other end. We came out of the side where they have the interpreters going on, and you can see people in there on the other side of that to walk into the tabernacle. And we were near the front end of this group of 120 people. And got into the tabernacle, it was all lit up. Of course, we couldn't see the stand or any of the choir seats or any of that because we were coming around that side. And so as we walked further into heaven, it was completely quiet, not a sound. As we walked further into it and looked around the corner, the tabernacle choir's there.
Jeez.
Quiet. I mean, they're all just sitting there. No one had made a sound. And so we go in and
They told him you were coming. Oh, shh, no, yeah.
they had us,
Hide behind their seats.
they had us all sit down. No one else was in the tabernacle. And they brought us up to the front, sat us down there, and the choir puts on a concert for us.
Jeez.
Oh, wow.
45 minutes they sang to us. It was just a breathtaking kind of.
See, and that's like the EFY dance. But they know they don't want to dance, so.
You didn't get stuck behind one of the pillars, did you? What is that?
Well, it was very emotional, at least for me. It was
Not bad.
very emotional.
And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch.